All right, good afternoon, viewers. I hope you're all happy, healthy and well. A quick article written by a feminist named Sarah Vine. Here we go. Sarah Vine writes, "It's not genes that make a man a true father to his sons. Just ask my husband, Michael Gove, about the loving dad who adopted him." So there's this guy here and he's adopted, I don't know. What makes a father? And I want you to please remember this, that this has nothing to do with the story whatsoever. It has nothing to do with, it's just a bullshit lead-in. And it really pisses me off that they've used this kind of a thing because it's fake. It's a fake heading. What makes a father? Is it the duplication of the genes, the resemblance in the eyes, the shared hair colour, the very obvious inherited sticky out ears? Or is it time spent together, the endless stories at bedtime, the joint ventures, the memories, the good and bad, the moments shared? Richard Mason, the 55-year-old millionaire co-founder of internet price comparison site MoneySupermarket.com, believes in the former. So much so that, having discovered by accident that his 3 sons are not biologically his, he seems hell-bent on revenge. Well, I don't know about revenge, it's just, you're pissed off, why wouldn't you be? As well as suing his former wife for paternity fraud and securing a $250,000 payout of the $5 million, or the £5 million he's already paid her out. He also decided to tell the entire world about her deception and expose his children to the gaze of the nation. In an emotional interview, The Mail on Sunday yesterday, he details how he made the discovery after he was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis 2 years ago, because men with CF can't conceive without the aid of IVF. His consultant was adamant Mason's 3 boys, a 23-year-old and 19-year-old twins, could not possibly be his. In an instant I discovered I didn't really have any children. The biological father is a man, as yet unknown, but Mason has offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the discovery of his identity, with whom Mason's ex-wife Kate had an on-off affair during their unhappy 20-year marriage. I'll bet it was unhappy, bro. It was really unhappy. This is them together. This is the cheating wife. These are the 3 children that she had with another man in the marriage. And the whole marriage, she treated him like fucking rubbish. You can bet your ass on that. Because they're not his kids. You understand, ladies and gentlemen? So she's out banging another bloke in the marriage and gets pregnant and has the kids to another man. And then pretends that this is the father. Because he's a millionaire and he's got money. He can afford the children, you see. And the other guy's probably a schlep. The other guy's probably schmo low somewhere, fucking, you know what I mean? A milk bar attendant. Now there can be no doubt that Kate's behaviour constitutes a terrible betrayal, almost biblical in scale. It is fucking atrocious. The whole sorry saga is made even sadder by Mason's own possible life-limiting illness and the health of his second wife, Emma, 46, who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. But here's the thing, does all that really negate his role as a father? Absolutely it does. And however awful the circumstances, however heartless and the ex-wife's actions, however painful the realisation of her infidelity, however humiliating and traumatic the discovery, can any of it justify this howl of rage, this visiting of sins on the mother of the children? Abso-fucking-lutely. Because that, in effect, is what Mason has done. Those words, "I really don't have any children," says it all. In telling the world that he no longer feels that he is their father, he is depriving these children of only one thing they've ever known. And all for what? What good would any of this do, save to undermine the emotions of 3 young men already? One imagines deeply traumatised by their parents' divorce and the news that their father has debilitating illness. Mason's rage and anguish is perfectly understandable. Indeed, I dare say any of us would feel much the same in this situation. But how's it respond to situations such as these that ultimately is the measure of the man? And in his desire to punish his ex-wife Kate, they were divorced in 2007 after what Mason described as a cold and joyless marriage. He has perhaps unwittingly been inevitably shown himself at best a narcissist, at worst a man who will not hesitate to use the 3 boys he still claims to love as a weapon against the woman he hates. Blinded by his own rage and humiliation, he has not only exposed them to the spotlight, but he has also inflicted serious emotional trauma. My Godfather. Because even though Mason may no longer consider himself the children's father, he still mourns the fact that 2 of the 3 are so outraged at his actions that they no longer want contact with him. The elders made it clear that if Mason persisted in suing his ex, he would never speak to you again, although one of his twins has been more generous, telling him that he will. On a human scale, it's worthy of a Greek tragedy. In a wider context, it goes to the very heart of what being a parent truly is. In his interview, Mason distinguishes between being the boy's father, which he says he is not, and being their dad, which he claims he still is. But you cannot categorise parenthood like that. It is and always should be unconditional. Either you're in or you're out. You can't pick and choose. Well, the guy that was fucking had a choice, didn't he? He didn't want to fucking raise him. He didn't want to pay for him. He didn't want to fucking do anything with him. He was just banging that fucking pussy, man, and sending it home. Wiping it down and sending it home. That's what he was doing. He was having the good fucking times. That bloke that got her pregnant, he was having the good fucking time. And the rest of the time, the husband's job is to take care of the job, is to take care of her and to take care of the family. But the whole time, man, she's fucking banging another bloke. I mean, that's fucking tragedy. Besides being a parent, is about so much more than replicating your DNA. It's about love, nurture, inspiration, support, protection and guidance. Above all, it's about understanding that it's not always about you, something Mason has singularly failed to do. What a joke. It's all about the woman. It's all about her. And it's his fault if he complains and says anything. It's his fault. The truth is that many happy families are not founded on shared biology at all. I have a friend whose partner has generally brought up 2 children from a previous marriage as well as their shield child. There are plenty of people who happily care for stepchildren in marriage that you previously met before you got married. It's got nothing to do with having an affair and having 3 children by another man. And what about children conceived via sperm donors? Another fucking bullshit excuse. And loving raised by father is it's more shit for me to read. Are these relationships less real, less valid, simply because they lack the genetic link? See, it's all crap here. Of course not. My husband, Michael Gov, who's certainly not to think so, his parents adopted him and his sisters as babies, and despite very obvious genetic differences, their differences have shown both just as much love, perhaps even more than many biological parents, because you were adopted. He knew who you were. You were adopted, you fucking tool. My father-in-law was an accomplished amateur footballer who longed to teach his adopted son the rudiments of the beautiful game. But any visions of the young Michael being scouted by the Dons, their local team, soon dissipated when it became painfully clear that the boy had 2 left feet. Now, what's this got to do with the fucking, it's got nothing, right? Chalk and cheese, it never made a lot of difference, and when the clumsy child they adopted grew up into a bookish cuckoo, clearly fundamentally unsuited to all forms of outdoor activity or productive manual labour, he's a fucking useless cunt then. But capable of devouring 1,000 pages of impenetrable prose in a day. Great. He and my mother-in-law went out their way to ensure Michael got the education he craved. They understood the fundamental principle of good parenting. Children are not vanity projects. They make their parents look good. They are individuals to be guided and nurtured wherever they may lead. They are also not pawns in the tangled affairs of adults, and any man who uses his 3 sons, disowning them in his most public and hurtful ways, to punish a woman who, despite her actions, is still their mother, should understand exactly what's at stake. As to Mason's wish that the 3 boys' real father should come forward, I fail to see how this would help matters. If anything, it would probably make life harder for the boys. Yeah, God forbid they know who was fucking banging their mother. The truth is that they already know who their real father is. It's Mason, the man who saw them being born, who raised them, shaped them, taught them, helped them. Yeah, because he was paying for everything. But he's not their real father. Guys, this is just it's a criminal fucking act. It's a criminal fucking thing what she's done. Like, this woman has been married to this man who's a multi-millionaire. She got pregnant and was banging and sucking and fucking another bloke all this fucking marriage. Treated her husband like an absolute, just would have been horrible for him, because the whole time she's swallowing her loads. She's on the end of the fucking of someone else. Like, man, I feel sorry for this guy. I really do. Because I investigated this more, and apparently she got paid £5 million as part of the settlement, plus the house and the alimony. That's what he wants back, the alimony that he's paid. Because they're not his children. Okay? They're not his children. It doesn't matter. She cheated in the marriage. She is just totally in the wrong. There's no blame there in that whole article. There's nothing. There's one line that says that she's, right. But there's nothing. He's the one that's to blame if he complains and says anything that's not good and you don't agree with it, and, you shouldn't be taking her to court and getting any money back. And I find this whole thing just absolutely just terrible for this man. He must have really suffered. His marriage would have been totally shit. And you got to feel for him, okay? Because none of these kids are his. And this whole time, I know I've said it a couple of times, but she's out banging another bloke the whole time in the marriage and falls pregnant to the other bloke. He's got nothing to do with the kids whatsoever, doesn't pay anything, no maintenance, no looking after them, nothing. And he's done it all. This schmuck, this poor fucking schmuck has done it all. And he's paid for all this for these children that aren't his. And they wonder why he's pissed off. They wonder why he goes to court. They wonder why he's trying to claw back some of his expenses. Because to this woman, money grows on trees, it's free, and she just goes to court and demands more. That's how they get money. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you. I hope you are all good and you stay well for the day, you big bald bastards. Thanks for viewing, and give us a like and give us a share. Thanks very much.